Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha and you're watching Samaa News. Here are today's headlines.
Iran has attacked and set ablaze an oil tanker off Dubai in the latest escalation around the Strait of Hormuz. Authorities say the Kuwait-flagged vessel Al Salmi caught fire after a drone strike, but the blaze was contained with no injuries or oil spill reported. Iran's Revolutionary Guards suggested the intended target may have been another vessel nearby, highlighting growing risks to commercial shipping in the region. President Donald Trump has urged countries that stayed out of strikes on Iran to secure their own oil supplies, even calling on them to take control in the Strait of Hormuz. In remarks targeting allies, he singled out the United Kingdom and France for not supporting US actions as the conflict disrupts global energy flows. Trump also pushed American oil exports as an alternative, warning that countries may need to act independently as tensions continue to rise. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the next few days in the Middle East conflict will be decisive. Speaking at a briefing, he claimed U.S. and Israeli strikes have weakened Iran's military, triggering desertions and shortages of key personnel. Hegseth said Washington now holds the advantage, adding that Tehran has limited military options as the conflict enters a critical phase. He also said that Washington is closely tracking support from China and Russia to Iran and is prepared to confront it where needed. He did not detail the actions, but said the US is actively mitigating and responding to any such involvement.
US Secretary of War Pete Hegseth has said that President Donald Trump is seeking a deal with Iran, but warned that Tehran must act wisely. During a joint briefing with General Dan Kane, Hegseth said, if Iran showed wisdom, it will make a deal, adding that failure to do so would result in intensified military action. He also urged Iran's new government to act more prudently than its predecessor. He warned that if a deal is not reached, the war will continue with greater intensity in the coming days. The officials described the current phase of the conflict as critical, with limited options remaining for Iran. Hegseth and Kane said that more than 11,000 targets in Iran have been hit so far, while Kane stated that Iranian missile manufacturing sites are among the key targets being struck. US President Donald Trump has told aides he is willing to end the military campaign against Iran, even if the Strait of Hormuz remains largely closed, and leave a complex operation to reopen it for a later date. The Wall Street Journal reported that in recent days, Trump and his aides assessed that a mission to pry open the choke point would push the conflict beyond his timeline of 4 to 6 weeks. He decided that the US should achieve its main goals of hobbling Iran's Navy and its missile stocks and wind down current hostilities while pressuring Tehran diplomatically to resume the free flow of trade. On the other hand, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has said that any decision to end the ongoing war will be made on Iran's terms. He stated that the decision to end the war would depend on prevailing conditions and would be made by Iran itself. He emphasized that any resolution would take into account all circumstances while safeguarding the country's dignity, security, and national interests. The Iranian president made it clear that protecting the honor and interests of the Iranian people remains a top priority.
On the other hand, Qatar says the future of the Strait of Hormuz must be decided collectively by regional and international partners once security is restored. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Majed Al-Ansari warned that no single country can determine the fate of the waterway, while also cautioning against attacks on civilian infrastructure in the Gulf.
Meanwhile, thousands of soldiers from the US Army's elite 82nd Airborne Division have started arriving in the Middle East as Trump weighs his next steps in the war against Iran. 2 US officials told Reuters that the paratroopers, based out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, add to the thousands of additional sailors, Marines, and Special Operations Forces sent to the region. Over the weekend, about 2,500 Marines arrived in the Middle East.
Pakistan's Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar and his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi have called for an immediate ceasefire in the Gulf and wider Middle East, urging swift peace talks. In a joint initiative, both sides stressed the need to ensure safe passage for ships and crews in the Strait of Hormuz. The appeal comes as part of a 5-point plan aimed at restoring stability amid growing international efforts to contain the conflict.
People in Iran accused of spying or cooperating with hostile states are likely to face the death penalty and confiscation of all assets under a recently enhanced law, a month into the war with the United States and Israel. An Iranian judiciary spokesperson said that even sharing photos or videos that could aid enemy targeting may be treated as intelligence cooperation. Iranian media have reported more than 1,000 arrests over the course of the month related to individuals accused of filming sensitive locations, sharing anti-government content online, or cooperating with the enemy. That's all for now. For more updates, visit www.samaa.tv. Thank you for watching Samaa News.